Hello everybody, this is Alex from Hardcoin Guides, bringing you my guide for God of War 2 on Titan difficulty. Today we're doing part 15, Sacrifice to the Fates. This is going to have the second of two translators, which is going to come up near the end, and we're going to release the Phoenix and all that other fun stuff. But before all that, we're going to have to deal with yet another really difficult arena fight, and that's going to be the other Cerberus, what do you want to call them? We'll see them later, so this is going to be another fun section. Speaking of parts, this part right here, I don't know why I flubbed it up so bad. I did consider maybe restarting the checkpoint and all that, just because, like, I was worried that I didn't do a very good job, so, but it's fine. My pro tip is just, if you can grab the undead, like the main undead, not the other, like not the guy I'm grabbing right now, but if you grab this one specifically, and then you do the square throw, then you want to throw it at least, you know, at the group. Like, this is probably one of the best moves you could do, because as you can see, kind of like back in God of War 1, where we had like that area we had to go get those shields, and they block you off. But yeah, right there, I was getting mauled. So I was trying to grab somebody, but I couldn't. So I had to use magic, unfortunately. That's okay. You can use magic if you want. You know, no harm, no foul. But yeah, you want to go. You mainly want to go for the regular undead, because they're the only ones that seem to have like the best AOE attack. And yeah, once they're done with everything's relatively simple. This is a pretty fun part, just because you have like the most basic versions of each enemy that show up in both games. And it's really nice. And of course, this cocksucker is gonna show up like near the very end. So yeah, I was kind of crying on that part, because I was like, oh man, I fudged up so bad. And that's the problem with me, though, is I tend to have those times where I want to be a perfectionist as much as possible, where I just want to take either none to barely any damage. And I was like, this is not a no damage run. This is just a Titan difficulty run. Like, it doesn't matter how much damage I'm taking. Like, I'm trying to prevent other people playing the game from taking damage. That's kind of the idea. You know, watching me get hit in the face is pretty much just another necessity, I would say, of guides, unless I'm just coping at this point. I don't know. But, like, I would consider it, like, a relative necessity to kind of show off, like, you know, the dangers, I guess you could say. I don't know. Yeah, I am coping. Oh, well. But, yeah, killing Athena would, of course, get you orbs, and it will also shut her up, because she won't stop talking. Oh, I guess these things are called Cerberus breeders. Yeah, I guess that's what they're called. I call it Cerberus. I know it's pronounced Cerberus, but I call them Cerberus. Oh yeah, I forgot that was a feather. I was about to say, aha! And then I remembered, oh yeah, I was watching this earlier, and it was a feather, and I was like, I try to remember that it was a feather, and I think the next one's a Gorgon eye. But there is a secret chest that we can find. Don't know why I was sitting around. Also, I don't know why my square's shaking so damn. Squeak. Would you stop squeaking? Shit, bro, I'm barely even moving. Okay, yeah, it's getting pretty bad. I do need another chair, but there's like just no other chair that I can find that just fits my level of comf and, you know, the size, or not size, but the height that I can go, because I'm pretty low-ish to the ground. I need another chair, just like, I can probably fly one somewhere, but yeah, if you drop down here, right after you find, you know, after you see the window of these chests, the window next to it will be a drop-off point. You don't have to, like, you know, you could jump down anywhere and you'll be okay in that little small area. So, yeah. After all is said and done, I'm trying to think of the next thing that happens right after this. I think it's the Raven section, or it could be a different one. No, it's the actual Sacrifice of the Fates. That's right. Yeah. So, I don't know what the hell that was all about. I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest with you. I forgot that you're supposed to look at the door first. So I do mess up a few times here, but luckily the Sirens of God of War 2, which we have seen this one before, this is their reappearance again. They're not that bad. Triangle, triangle, square is a pretty good combo against them. I don't really bother with doing parries, mainly because it just seems like a waste of time. But those that don't know, the trick is you want to get them into the circle prompt, which they do stay in for a considerable amount of time. However, if you do get them in the circle prompt and you don't kill them, they can't go back in the circle prompt again. So you have to kill them right after. And no, using your rail does not work, and I found that out the hard way. Also, you can dodge the Screech. Just gotta dodge it like at the last second, you should be fine. But you don't need to get them in the circle prompt to actually kill them with the fire. You just need to have them at least in front of it. But the thing is, getting them in the circle prompt is the best way of getting them to get hit by the fire. You only need like 3 of them anyway, and they don't take too long to kill. Like, they don't take an unnecessarily long amount of time. They're actually pretty simple. It's just when you have to deal with them in the later sections of the game, as in, you know, the gauntlet that I'm going to be talking about later, and of course the Zeus fight. So once we get to those, that's when they're going to become more of a problem. But as it stands right now, they're not that bad to deal with. You just kind of do triangle, triangle, square whenever you get the chance. And yeah, if they're at least on the edge of the fire range, they should be fine, like right there. As long as they're not in the middle of this room, then you can hit them in. So they also do spawn magic too, so if you want to use a specific magic tool, then there you go. But yeah, right there, I got really lucky with that, where I could just juggle them. That's another thing I've been trying to kind of promote in God of War, was I'm trying to say, like, especially with satyrs, is you want to get juggle combos going for them, if you can even get a juggle going, because once you get a juggle combo going, most of the time, the rest is just kind of simple. So, also, I don't think the screeching does any damage to you. It's just the aftermath of getting hit by a screech that would kind of, you know, screw you over. So, something to kind of look out for, pretty much. Luckily, they drop you a nice, easy health chest right after, because they know for a fact that someone was going to take some damage, and that's just the nature of it. That's just going to happen. I don't know why I'm fiddling around in this area. I also don't know why Kratos is glowing for. I assume maybe it's just a game design thing to kind of make it easier to spot him, but it just looks kind of funny to me. Or, you know what? In all retrospective, maybe it's just because, like, he's technically still a god. I mean, he's half god anyway, so there's that. So, yeah. Which, of course, you know, you don't find out until, like, this game. But even then, still. Alright. The Raven section. I'm going to be fast-forwarding the section when I start burning all the ice, including fighting the Minotaur. So, hopefully by now you guys know how to fight Minotaurs. I would assume so. It's the same repetitive trek. I mean, by now, if you've made it this far into God of War 2 Titan difficulty, Minotaurs are just second nature at this point. You fought so many, I would assume that by now you would understand how to potentially fight them. If you don't still, then, like, I'm not shitting on anybody, don't worry. I'm not shitting on anybody. That sounded rude when I said that. I didn't mean like that. What I'm trying to say is, if you don't have a best way of dealing with them, and they still worry you, or whatever the case may be, holding triangle and getting them in the air is a good combo. Triangle, triangle, square, and trying to get them into a juggle is a good combo. And of course, you can block almost every one of their attacks, so that's another thing to keep in mind too. The overhead's the one you want to watch out for. The overhead one is the one you want to, like, parry back, so try to keep up with that. But, like, I assume most likely if you're playing Titan mode, you probably have at least some confidence and some skill to hopefully handle most of these fights, except for, like, the really damning fights. And usually, like, a single Minotaur is not enough I would consider to be a damning fight. They're pretty much just, at this point in time, they're almost like a tier 2 of undead enemies at that point. Like, they're just so sometimes stupidly easy. Not all the time, but sometimes they are. The only time they get bad is when they're in groups. For those that are curious about what exact pattern you should have here, you need to have the... You see this metal one that I have right now? That's the one you want to go for. You want to get, like, the fatter crescent moon. Not that one. That one's wrong. But don't worry, I figure it out. So yeah, you want to go for, like, the fatter crescent moon, and you want to go for the third or so Ankh, or not Ankh. God damn it. Why do I keep thinking it's Egyptian? Shit, it's not. Like, I think that's supposed to be the Omega symbol. That's the one you want to go for. It's like the next one after the ones I put in. For those that are not sure of the puzzle, if you're just watching this, whether or not, you know, you're doing it in tight mode or not, regardless, you need to have one of these lights shining out. You don't need all the icicles. I just broke all of them just because I needed I wanted the extra orbs. I didn't really need them, but yeah. That little symbol right there, that's the only one of its kind, so it should be simple enough to figure out when you've got it. Why do I keep sounding so condescending every time I say something? I'm not trying to be condescending. I don't know why I'm sounding like that. Maybe it's just because it's 10 o'clock at night and I've been recording nothing but these videos for like the past, God knows how long now, hours? So yeah, I fast forward this part because there's nothing special. It's just you burn all the ice. You move around, you burn ice, you open chest, you fight Minotaur. It's really just about that. And no, you can't burn the Minotaur as far as I'm aware. I've tried a couple of times before and it doesn't work. But yeah, by now I have level 4 blades. So if you have level 4 blades, that works. If you wanted to, you could use your rail to stone the Minotaur and kill him that way. It's completely up to you. Oh yeah, there's 2, aren't there? God damn it. Oh well. Yeah, I stoned the other one. Simple, easy. At level 2 your rail, easy. And I think I still have level 2 Atlas Quake. Also, you're going to hear my computer. That's just because I'm fast forwarding. That's just what it's like. That's my processor for you in a nutshell. Or my fan, or whatever. Yeah. After all is said and done, everything calms down. Now we're going to take out these hives. But this part is surprisingly not as bad as I could have sworn it was. I remember this being much worse than it really would end up being. So, you know, grab fireflies, and then just when you get an opening, take that chance, climb up here. When I got lucky right there because I could have gotten hit, but luckily one of them blocked off the attack. But as soon as you climb up here, that's when you want to start going for these attacks. And just make sure you put them in some type of hit stun, so that way they don't actually, you know, attack you. Because if you get hit, you're gonna fall off. You're gonna get, you know, you're not gonna die, but you're just gonna fall off, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass to climb back up. So yeah, for the most part, you can kind of just get away with ignoring them. And at least until you get down here, that's when they're going to try to attack you again. But luckily, they don't take too much damage to kill, which is very fortunate and very awesome for us. I just realized I'm going to render all these, and this is going to take forever. I'm actually pretty close to being done with the game, actually. We have only just like 5-ish more videos to go through. Yeah, we're that close to the Fates. It's ridiculous. We got to go through, I think, the second translator, and then after that is, I believe, the Phoenix section. Well, Kraken, and yeah, Phoenix, then you fight the Kraken, then you go to the Fates, and then you go to Zeus. So, we're not that far behind. But anyway, it's Hardcorean guide time, where I have to actually provide actual, hopefully, good tips and advice. So, I'm going to give a few pointers. I don't do all of them, but I'm going to tell you what I would suggest doing. So, 2 Cerberus breeders spawn. Triangle, triangle, square is one of your best combos you can do against them because it doesn't have too much end lag. Throw the small dogs into either the big dogs or into each other. The first thing you want to do, if there's small dogs on screen, you want to go for them and you want to kill them as fast as possible. Only use rage mode on the dogs, the big dogs. Only use it on them because they do spawn rage orbs. And once all 3 or 4 of the big dogs are gone, then you're gonna run out of orbs for the most part. I don't remember if the champion guys actually have them or not. But yeah, you see how much damage just one little dog does to another one? It's great. I would recommend throwing the little dog at least into the big dogs. But if there's another small dog around, then just throw it at each other. That's something else you can do. But I'm trying to get him to hit into him, but sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does. Make sure you try to focus on at least one of them at a time, because if you're in rage mode, then go for both at once. But if you're not, then just try to go for one. And like I said, I know I'm not showing it much, but the thing is that I try to do for Cerberus breeders, the big dogs themselves, that I try to at least go for the triple triangle, or not the triple triangle, but the double triangle into a square attack. And I mentioned this in previous videos, but there's a thing you can do where you can wind up. But the problem is with the big dogs is they have a problem where winding up, you know, they kind of don't let you do that sometimes because they try to throw fireballs at you. But if you can get a wind-up going, as in, like, get away from them, get some range between you, and then after that, you know, do triangle, 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 and you can do a lot of damage if you get one in. So after the first two big dogs are dead, you're going to, once these guys start spawning in, you're going to want to start wasting away your Atlas Quake. This is when you're going to want to really start hammering home and getting rid of the Cerberus. So also another thing I forgot to mention is you don't want to waste all of your rage mode. You also want to have rage mode for this next part with these two big guys. So something I'm going to bring up in a minute. I'm at low health right now, and that's fine. Well, it's not technically fun, but yeah, see right there, what I'm doing is I'm keeping my range, and I'm coming back, and I'm landing the final triangle hit on the big dog himself. So that's what I'm trying to aim for. After that, you're going to want to, if you have low health like I do, you're going to want to run over to this door that you came from. And then after you run over to this door, you're gonna want to bait both of the enemies into it, and then you can roll over here and grab your chest. And if you're lucky enough, they'll take their time getting there, and you can get your health chest. So if you need health that bad, bait these two into it, not the dogs, but bait these two into it, and then from there is when you can grab the chest, because sometimes they'll probably just be nice enough to stay away. So I'm doing the same thing I'm doing to the dogs, and this is just a little bit more of a laxed way of seeing it, because now it's not, you know, so in your face having to deal with these two. These guys are just nasty assholes, and they take a lot of damage to kill, and they do a lot of damage themselves. And they have a lot of really nasty moves, but you can block almost every single one of them. That 2-hit swing combo is what you want to get them to do. That's what you want them to bait. You want to bait them into doing that, because after they do that attack, you want to go for either a square triangle or at least a regular triangle. You never want to do the final triangle attack on them unless you have good distance and you can land that final blow and have enough distance between you after that final blow of the final triangle hit to get out of to roll out of it and go back for another one. If not, go for triangle, triangle, square. It works wonders. If you're too close, if you're too close, go for the square. If you have range, go for the triangle. Even then, you still don't want to be too close. And you still want to bait them into doing that 2-hit swing. If they're doing something else, then just block it. Unless you're confident enough to, you know, take them on between then. After all that's said and done, I upgrade Atlas Quake to level 3. Sorry, I'm spittling everywhere. I upgrade Atlas Quake to level 3, and that pretty much takes care of that. But yeah, so a quick rundown for those that are probably like me, and you're probably like, I don't know anything he just said. And I don't blame you, because I'm very bad at explaining things. So the first two Cerberus dogs, the two big ones, you know, you can throw the small dogs into either each other or into the big dogs. That does a decent bit of damage. Don't use your rail, and don't use any magic until the second wave of big dogs. Once you take out the first two big dogs, use a bit of rage every once in a while. Get them into the circle prompt. You got to do it twice, but you know, use rage when you need to, if you feel like you need to. And other than that, you know, keep your range and do the triangle combo if you can. If you can't get a range, then just throw back fireballs. Projectiles work pretty well. After the first two are dead, there's going to be two more that spawn along with the armored enemies, and then after they spawn is when you want to start using your Atlas Quake as much as you possibly can. And then, yeah, this section right here I just flub up, so I have plenty of time to talk. Yeah, after those two, the next group of dogs, and then the two armored enemies spawn, Atlas Quake the hell out of them, and then after you run out of magic, then you could start using rage to kind of do some extra bit of damage to kill off the last two Cerberus, the last two big dogs. And then after, or, you know, if you don't want to use rage right then and there, I would also suggest using it on the armored enemies because you do less damage. Now, when you're fighting the armored enemies by themselves, you want to try to at least get as far, like run from one side of this arena to the other, and then do triangle, triangle, and then triangle, and hopefully you have enough range to hit them, you know, from it. get the final hit is what you want to hit, of course. The final hit's what you want to go for. And then after that final hit, it should do a bit of damage and hopefully knock them on their ass. And of course, if they get overwhelming and you're taking too much damage and you need health back, run to the other side of the screen, try to group them up. It's mostly just like remembering what those guys can do in terms of attacks. They can't do very many attacks, but they do have a sprinting attack that does a decent bit of damage you want to try to stay away from. That's the part that sucks. Yeah. Also, I think it's after you enter the door and then you do the time slow thing. I think that's when the health box spawns. So if you're curious, what we need to do is first you open the grate or open the gates, and then after that, Alex, would you stop being stupid, please? I'm so angry at myself for doing this. I don't know what I'm doing. So after you open this, you pull the lever. You're gonna want to push. Stupid dude. I'm having this much trouble remembering the damn puzzle, but don't worry. Give me a couple of seconds, I'll remember. So you're gonna want to push this like underneath the door. It's not gonna stick anywhere. I would just push it right here. I'm weird like that. And then if I'm not mistaken, I think you do slow down time, run in, and then you don't need to slow down time first. You just run in. There you go. Yeah. So you run in the portal. Oh yeah, it does stop it actually. I think it does stop the gate. So yeah, you want to push it underneath it. There you go. Grab the translator. Great. But yeah, hopefully I explained that section with the Cerberus enough. I feel like I wasn't too thorough with it, and I apologize about that. But like I keep bringing it up, and I'm hoping people understand what I'm trying to say, because I'm always worried that like I explain things in the worst way possible. It's not that I worry that people are like, oh well, they're just not smart enough to get it. It's just like I'm pretty sure at this point in time it's just I'm too damn dumb to explain it properly, and I get worried about that. So hopefully I explained it well enough. Again, if anybody needs more advice, you can always just ask in the comments, and I'm willing to help as best as I possibly can. So yeah, the thing I'm trying to explain the most is the long-ranged part of it, where you pretty much want to get that final triangle blow if you have enough distance between you and them. You want to get that final triple triangle hit and do some damage from afar. That way you can get out of it and not be stuck in the end lag, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. And it does a decent, heap of damage too. For what it's worth, it actually does quite a bit of damage. And the other thing too is my usual go-to combo is square triangle, and then I do the other triangles after. Mainly because I throw out the square first to kind of get what we say in the fighting game, community is a hit confirm. I'm trying to like hit confirm, and make sure that I'm actually hitting the enemy. And then also it just kind of, maybe it's my own psychosis, but I feel like it just makes your wind up faster. Like you get an extra attack for the amount of time it takes to do a regular triangle hit versus a square triangle. I can feel like you're getting the same amount of time between that and just a regular triangle hit. So, also don't do evade in triangle. That move, I don't like it. So try to avoid doing that. Try to stick to square, essentially. Yeah, you saw right there I did triangle, and what do you know, I screwed it up. So Cyclops is once again. So I'm doing the same thing I'm doing there, like I just explained, where essentially I'm keeping my distance and then I'm going for the triple triangle attacks, or at the very least taking pop shots. And whenever the Cyclops' roar is a good time as any to kind of get up in their face and do some damage. If you're going to be dodging their club swing down, like right there, if you're trying to dodge that, I would suggest dodging toward the direction of their weapon. Basically, you're going to want to dodge toward their right. So that way you can kind of just not get clipped by the weapon itself, essentially. And when one of them is doing this swinging around motion thing like that, if you get far enough away, sometimes they stop doing it. Sometimes they don't. It's really random. It's really weird. But a lot of the time, either they'll stop or they won't. And if they're not stopping, then just avoid them. Just regardless if they're not going to stop either way. If they're doing that attack where they're just swinging the club around on the ground, just keep your distance and go fight the other one. Don't bother with that one. Yeah, like 4 spawn here. It's really irritating. If you get stuck like I do, Atlas Quake, or at least do some type of magic to kind of get yourself out of it, something happened to that Cyclops there. He just was having some troubles, I guess. And unfortunately, I don't think we can use the slowdown ability here because it's up there, and I don't think you're allowed access to it. But by now, if you have level 4 blades like I do, your triple triangle combo should be enough damage to actually just almost wipe these guys out most of the time. And again, you know, while they're doing their roaring, that's when you want to go for some nice hits. And take some pop shots after you dodge a slam attack. That's usually the best one. Cyclopses are mostly just like figure out like what they're gonna do, and then when you figure it out, it's like, oh, okay, I just attack after he's done attacking, and then I'm good. So yeah, that takes care of that, and that's pretty much the end of the episode. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see y'all next time when we play some more. Wait, there's not a Let's Play. Next time when we do some more God of War 2. So as always, take care, everybody.